Good evening for the first time, and today we're talking to the fantastic Laurence M White, excuse me, a portrait artist from Essex. Yeah, I got introduced to his stuff through an amazing picture he did of Grace Kelly, so I'm super excited to see that. Hey Sash. So yeah, I'm excited to talk to him. He does a lot of portraits based on famous people, and I think the ethos behind his work is being obsessed with entrepreneurs and how they sort of strive to get to the top, which I'm very excited to hear about, because for me, it's always exciting to see how someone chooses what they're gonna paint, and also I like how he paints. It's kind of like almost in the negative, I would say. But yeah, it's really, really cool stuff. So I'm excited. There's a few different styles that have emerged on the old Instagram page and on the website. So yeah, just excited about that really. So just waiting for him to join us. Yeah, I don't really know. Well, while we wait, let's go and give you a little where's a nice little overview. Yeah, here's a couple really awesome pictures. I'll just flip them around for you to have a look at. Hello, Keegan. Yeah, so it's just super iconic portraits of really iconic people. So I'm excited to see what he has to say. Really? Excuse me. So, yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys. I don't really know what else to say. Just messaging him to see where he is. How's my channel? How's it, my channel? No, it's well, man. I'm just excited. I'm getting to talk to all these artists, and today it's exciting stuff, man. This dude has some really, really cool stuff going on. Yeah, so how are you? Type it in the comments. Well, hold on, it's that way actually. Have to be extra and film it the other way. And yeah, so a little bit more from Laurence White. There's not that much about him, to be honest, to go on and on. Like, he seems kind of new to art. I don't know. I have to find out more. I can't find much more about him. I've been stalking, but but yeah, so that's it. Ah, here he is now. I'm not going to do that because I never get it right. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, good, really good. Again, I keep forgetting on these Instagram lives that I always think that I need to wait for a request.
Oh, yeah, no.
I've just been sat around again.
Sorry, man.
No.
But yeah, sort of telling everyone I have tried to stalk you as much as I can, but I like that there's not that much about you yet, so you're here to answer those questions, which is excellent. So
Yeah,
if we can
that's
start
good.
a small introduction of who you are, and then we'll carry on with the conversation, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a UK-based artist from Essex, and I paint pictures of icons and successful people, really. And I'm commissioned to do so. I'd call myself probably an Instagram artist because I like to get my audience involved. And like, for example, I'm doing a painting of Michael Jackson at the moment, but I did a poll on him the other day to see whether that was a good image to paint. It come out as a majority in favor of doing it, and so I'm doing it. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. I see from stalking you for the last couple of days on your Instagram, and it's not a creepy way. Like, it sounds creepy.
Yeah.
It's art, I promise.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting to see, like, in your about on your page, like when you talk about the icons, how did you come across, like, what was the draw to painting icons specifically?
I mean, so my history has always been in business. Like, I love business. I did it at uni. I have done it all the way through college, and I'm really interested in business and kind of the success principles that you need to become successful in business, in anything really, sort of thing. And so that kind of transpired into the work. So the people that I paint are often people that are kind of at the pinnacle or top of their craft in whatever that may be, whether that's music, whether that's business itself, whether it's acting, that kind of stuff, you know.
Oh, cool. So you're looking at just the top line people, and like, because it says in your sort of bio about you that you're very interested in what it takes to be at the top of your field.
Yeah, because
so
I think
how has painting these icons helped you to get more focused and more successful in your field?
Well, that's why I always put up quotes with my work, because it helps remind me, because I generally do a little bit of research behind the person when I'm looking for the image that I'm going to paint, like the whole process of just getting into the kind of, I don't know, it sounds a bit fancy smancy, but like getting into the into the headspace of where they are and what they represent and that kind of stuff. I like to look at quotes and what they've done in the past. And so when you read and find out kind of what they stand for and what they say, then there's like a recurring theme.
Yeah.
And in turn, I'm kind of taking from that myself and trying to implement that into what I'm doing with the art, which hopefully will then eventually get me to where I want to be.
Oh, awesome. So you're finding that I find surrounding myself with like-minded people is really helping me progress to the success that it is in my life that I want it to be. So it's great to see you're taking from the sort of top echelon of everyone's field and painting them, and it must be quite inspiring to paint them, because like it's always inspiring for me. I was explaining before you came on how your Grace Kelly portrait,
Grace Jones.
Grace Jones, sorry, Grace Kelly. Grace Jones, it came up on my Instagram just randomly, and I decided to follow you through that because I just think she's so iconic, and you have quite an energy that you've captured of her when you do the portrait, because it's kind of hard to find your style as a portrait artist because it's already done. You know what I mean? Like, so it's cool the way that you do almost like a negative kind of effect over them.
Yeah,
you know
I mean, even that, I've kind of gone, so before I was technically doing some more technical painting where you're kind of blending colours and all that kind of stuff. But I think that stuff that people want to buy, like I'm very much business minded in myself. So like that, yeah, albeit maybe more technically art, but I don't think that people necessarily want to see so much of that on their walls and stuff. So I'm just still in the process of like merging the two styles. And so I've gone from that to kind of now harsh lines, which I think make the painting a lot more modern.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about that when we come to a little later on, because I really enjoy, my favorite piece of yours actually is the Bob Marley with the abstract lines in the background.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
I loved how that was like such a controlled abstraction. It's really neat and tidy, but still crazy. So it appeals to my OCD when I look at it. I'm like, oh, they're so clean lines, but there's still that crazy that I need for it to like be art.
Yeah.
So it was really emotional for me, that piece in particular, because it just kind of has the essence of him as well, the kind of colors you've chosen at the background. Well, I mean, I don't know Bob Marley, let's be honest, but of the music and interviews I've seen of him, it really captured something quite beautiful of the portrait person, but the background, I think, really, like, if that's something that you're exploring more now, that's really, really cool. It really makes the portrait pop.
I mean, that's kind of, I can't take full credit for that painting. There's a guy called David Hoarth, something like that. And so that's where the kind of abstract line design come from, but he's kind of already nailed that as a style. But I was just interested to just try, you know, as artists, you just try stuff out, and so tried it, and I've merged that with then a guy called Timmy Sneaks, who's from America, and he does like the kind of printing of an image and then painting over it and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a merge of two styles, which I've then put into one, which has actually come out quite nice. But I think for me at the minute, I'm just trying to focus on the portraits, because I feel like I really want to define that as my niche or style, or I don't know, however you say it.
It's amazing the scale that you do them at as well, because I didn't realize from the first picture until like you put yourself next to the painting, like they're really, the scale of them is spectacular. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I think like I put myself next to the paintings for two reasons. One, because you can see the scale, and secondly, because I'm just proud of the work, you know.
Yeah,
I
of course.
think that where, like I said, I would say I'm an Instagram artist or a social media artist. Paintings that have got me or a person in with the image do better, you know, and that's crucially important now where the reach on Instagram's gone down and that kind of stuff. So every little helps.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's great as well because for me, I need some sort of emotional connection with the artist. And through doing these conversations, I've had people who are super, super confident and people who are really, really nervous. But everyone's kind of committed to doing it and they've always had a good time, which is nice. But I think it is important for someone to know who Laurence is, you know what I mean? And it's okay to put yourself in the paintings, like in the pictures with them, because I think it is great for people to see you. You're putting your soul out there on a page, and in an Instagram world where, like you say, it's getting harder and harder to reach out, you do need every piece to be able to help promote yourself. And I think not enough artists are confident enough to be able to do that, and I think it's great that you do that. Also for the reference of scale, the work that you've done.
Yeah, I think in the beginning as well, it was a lot more of a battle. Like, you know, it's quite scary to put yourself out like that. Sorry, I'm literally just grabbing for a charger as I speak to you. No, it can be quite scary, and I understand that because I do get a few messages here and there from other artists and stuff, and it is a little. It's not a straight, like I see it straightforward. You just, I'll post all the time and stuff because I've kind of got over that fear of putting myself out there. But I know for a lot of people that is still nerve-wracking. Do you know what I mean? But the thing is, your audience will determine whether they like a certain piece or something or not. You're not going to be, whether I think something looks amazing or not, doesn't mean that someone else is going to buy it off me. For example, so I technically think this particular painting I'm thinking of in my head, which I've done of a girl who's got her face squished up into a mirror, technically I think that's the best piece of work I've ever done. It hasn't sold, but yet other paintings do, which I personally don't think are as good. But I'm not the market, you know. The market decides once you put yourself out there. But my point for saying that is, say for example, you put up a picture of yourself, you might think it's really bad, but someone else might take a lot of value from it. And so put it out there is the kind of message, I guess.
Yeah, I think what you say is really important. Like I've worked for a furniture company, and when we get the new product, sometimes we stand there and we're like, was someone on crack cocaine when they designed it? And I swear to God, it sells out in like 2 weeks. We don't have stock for like another month. And I'm like, all of us look at each other like, are these customers for real? And that's so positive for me as an artist to take away, that there really are billions of opinions. And you know what I mean? It's so important for you to stand behind what you've done creatively and push what you're doing. I think it is important, but it's great that you do it so well. But if we can go back to the initial inspiration, what was your initial inspiration into your field? Because your art through your social media, and that seems kind of new. I couldn't really find anything sort of before about your art, so I'm excited that you're here to tell us your initial inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, I've only been doing it for a year and a half now, so I'm still fairly new to it. But I think where I've been able to excel almost online, at least, is that for the last 7 years I've been working in TV. And so I've been around influencers and social media people, and so I've kind of known, I guess, not little tricks of the trade, but it just seemed normal to, like you said, put yourself out there, and that being brave enough to put yourself out there has kind of helped in attracting a modest-sized audience, you know?
Yeah. So what was your initial introduction into art? Like, have you always been doing it, or was it like a...
Oh, Yeah, sure. So I did it at college, and then I had the option of, luckily I managed to get full marks in my art at A level, and that meant that I could go straight to uni without having to do the foundation art course. But I decided to kind of get a proper degree and went and did business at Loughborough. Come out of uni and then basically went into the working world. I ended up working in TV, or I'm working in TV and that kind of stuff for 7-8 years now. And then because in TV there are gaps in between jobs and stuff, you're not always guaranteed work. And so I had time on my hands to like try different things. So I tried different businesses. I tried a jeans company, tried property, that kind of stuff. And then one day I just thought I'll try a painting again, just to see, you know, technically if I could still do it and stuff. I painted a piece of Kanye West. That piece then was found by my friend who was also on TV, and he posted it. And then from there, I just kind of haven't stopped working. Fingers crossed it stays like that. But I haven't stopped working in terms of like, you know, one commission has led to another commission. And that's kind of how it's happened, really.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm
But
so
yeah,
glad art decided to just drag you back. Like, thank goodness.
yeah, I do. I mean, I do think there's timing is a big thing, and I think that, you know, as much as you try to force stuff, like some things are kind of meant to be almost, without being too kind of wishy-washy. And it just seems like things have kind of finally fallen into place. Even just growing up through your 20s and stuff, I think you're just finding yourself and what works for you. And, you know, at the start of my 20s, I don't think I would have had the confidence to be able to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And so when I talk about timing, I now feel like I know myself and I know what I want enough that I feel comfortable putting out X amount of content per day, etc., you know?
Yeah. No, 100%. I love the wisdom and bravery that comes with age. Like, honestly, I'm so happy about my 30s. I just don't care. It's so
Yeah.
spectacular. And it's like, it's sad to watch people who really care about things that don't matter, but they do. So,
Yeah, I think, yeah, I had my 30th birthday literally like a couple of days ago, and it's kind of crazy. Like,
good.
yeah, thank you. And yeah, just, I think even that period from like 26 to like 30, there was just been a lot of like, yeah, growing up and stuff. And so, yeah, I started the art again off the back of college at 28, and I'm now 30. So yeah, it's just kind of, yeah, but like I said, about a year and a half that I've been doing it properly again since.
That's awesome. And how, like, since you started to do it again, because obviously you've come from, obviously I think TV can be quite a creative environment, but it depends what job you do. It could be kind of spreadsheets and organizing rotors. So I don't really know where you fit in. But how do you feel that reconnecting with your art has put you in a better space personally in your life?
Yeah, because I think that with the art and stuff, you're taking control of your own destiny. I think that what I was getting frustrated with in TV, and it's very taboo to talk about it like this, but it was that when you go for an interview, so one show will finish, then you've got to go for an interview for another show, and you're doing that all the time because shows will last, say, 6-7 weeks these days. And so you're kind of at the mercy of someone else thinking you're good enough to do a job. Whereas with this art, I feel empowered in that if artwork is good enough or someone likes it enough, they'll buy it. It's very black or white, and I like black or white. And so the kind of work does the speaking for itself. If you don't like it, you don't have to follow me, or two, you don't have to buy it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you like it enough, it's there. And so so yeah, that's kind of probably my favorite bit about what I'm doing, kind of that idea that you're taking control of your situation and your destiny, I guess.
Yeah, I must say, like, this during this time, I've really been looking at, like, I need to dedicate my full life to being able to work remotely in supporting other artists and being able to sell stuff for my collective that I do, and be able to do this stuff without someone telling me I need to go somewhere I don't feel comfortable going. Like, we're opening the world in a time where we don't really understand it. Everything is really horrible. And I just would love to be able to just choose like you say, my destiny to stay home, and if you like it, you buy it. If you don't need it, walk on by.
Yeah, I think with all that's gone on, the idea of just going into an office and stuff, I mean, that's just, it's been sped up by the whole corona situation and stuff. But yeah, the idea that you're going to be going back into an office anytime soon is
yeah, I go back on Monday. It's quite a horrific thought. I'm like, okay, it's going to be okay. We have like floor tape.
What is it you're going back to, sorry?
Oh, I work for IKEA.
Oh, do you? No way.
Yeah, I'm in the visual merchandising department, but I've been there for like 1,000 years. Since I literally fell off the boat from South Africa, I fell into IKEA and I never left. I'm like in a cult or something. No, I'm kidding. It's all right.
I need to come to you for the Laurence
White
IKEA furniture collaboration.
It's amazing the things that they are doing. I must say, like they did a collaboration with Chris Stamp, an American designer. That stuff, I've never seen something sell so quickly in my life. And the thing is, it's a really amazing, they're doing a lot more with artists now, which is something that I am really proud of IKEA for, because I'm like, they do an art event every year where they do loads of different designs. We had Virgil Abloh's Margaret, which I was a part of, like setting up the whole display, and that was really fun. Like it felt like a fashion event in furniture. Sorry?
His stuff looks so good. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, and it was really cool stuff. I've got the clock, and like I bought a couple bits and pieces for my sister in South Africa, like because they're not going to get it. But like it is cool what they do to support people. But I wish they would make it more accessible on like a local level. You know, like put it out there more to artists, because it's not really very easy to understand how these collaborations come about. But
I guess they're selling stuff at scale, so I guess they need someone to have a bit more, I don't know, presence, I guess, than...
Oh, no, 100%. But I mean, for like, you know, you could run an art thing alongside a launch in the community. And there's things like that that would make it so much more interactive. Like when we do those big launches, it is great fun. When you did the poll for your Michael Jackson, it's great to have feedback, and it's great to use your platform to get that instant feedback. It's good fun. It's like having people sort of right there, but it's not really.
No, it is. It really is. It really is, because I think that as I get more followers as well, you're getting a better focus group almost, because more people are voting and saying what they want to see, you know. But yeah, I mean, I only do that occasionally anyway, because like I said, fingers crossed, I stay busy and doing commissions, you know.
No, of course, but it is like, it's nice to even just pose a question, or even today you had like doing a little bit of painting. I love to watch processes. Like that's just my particular thing. So I really enjoy when people post a little story of them painting, or the halfway through a process. I really dig that stuff, because you get to see, oh, but halfway through it didn't really look like this. So it gives you a bit of hope, you know.
Yeah, especially when it's all going wrong.
Exactly. So now, if we could talk about, so I know your art career is very early and much longer to go, but so far in the short time, what's been your proudest moment connected to your art specifically?
I actually think it's the prints that I'm doing at the moment. So I've now sell framed prints of my artwork, and I know it can seem simple to literally just go to a printers and print out some prints and then put them in a tube and send them off. But I've now got it to a point where I'm getting them framed, they're behind glass, finding the right printers that's going to be able to do the kind of volume that you need on demand. Like all the elements have finally come together. And so now I've got literally, as of maybe 3 weeks ago, I've now got a product that I'm really, really pleased with. And so if someone does want a little piece that can't afford like a real thing, then there is actually a really good affordable option that isn't just like, I think where it was before I was just selling a print, I didn't feel comfortable, because it was, I know there's something just about a piece of paper which I don't really feel like really was doing the work justice. And now I'm at that point, but there's a lot of process and hard work and stuff and sourcing that's gone into, you know, behind that. Even just like the packaging, just getting that nice and clean and right. has all been a process up until now.
That's awesome.
And yeah, and I think further to that, I think I've just had a piece go to Switzerland, which I was really excited about, and a piece that was in Dubai, that's been sent to Dubai, and is now in Dubai in a gold frame, and that was kind of all this year. Yeah, and
That's so
just
cool.
kind of when I got into it, just like doing a couple of paints, that's not really, you'd never think that could happen. Do you know what I mean? Like now that you're shipping artwork across the world, like that in itself is like quite mind blowing. Well, at least to me anyway.
That's awesome, man. And I'm sorry, but I do love that your proudest moment is being able to also provide people with like a really great, affordable piece to still be able to participate and support you. I think that's really cool as your proudest moment.
Yeah, I think that yeah, I think that as I go on as well, like prices obviously will increase as I get more established and stuff. But at the minute, I don't, like, you're getting a lot. I feel like I'm giving a lot of value in. A lot of them sell between, say, for example, £200 and £250, which for the amount that it actually cost me to make that is what I think is quite good value, you know.
Yeah, that's a lot, because you're getting a really big piece. Like your pieces are not small, and there's a lot of detail to them, even though they're gray, black, and white. Like if artists understand what it takes to make that, it's not easy.
Yeah. It's a lot more than just signing a piece of paper. I'll tell you that.
For free, not anything.
Yeah.
But if we talk about, like, on the back of your proudest moment, what's been the sort of most apprehensive or scariest moment connected to your art?
I think the scariest moment is where I've gotten a very established career in TV, and it's obviously on hold at the moment because of the whole Corona stuff. It's putting yourself out there as a full-blown artist when you've been known as this thing for your whole life. Do you know what I mean? Your whole life. And I don't really know how to put it into words, but it's kind of, that is scary when you're putting yourself out there to a load of people who have only seen you as one thing for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
And that acceptance, I think that when you're trying to do something different, you always get like, I mean, I don't even really hear it these days, but, you know, like people are like, what are you doing? And that kind of stuff, you know, and I just kind of try and put that to a side and not really think too much about that side of things, you know.
Have you, because I found it quite interesting when I sort of dedicated my life a year ago to just our collective and making sure we can exhibit and promote artists, a lot of people fell off, like, from my life. Not in an aggressive way, in a horrible way, but, you know, I would get that, like, well, what are you doing? What do you mean you have, like, a pop-up gallery? And I'm like, it's a pop-up gallery. Like, are you being this passive-aggressive because you don't believe in what I'm doing, or you feel sad or scared for me and you don't know how to communicate that? Because you're right, it is so, like, I'm still afraid to say that I'm an artist, and I really am. But there's that, like, oh, okay, you got to do more, you have to, you know, there's this whole checklist I have before I can say that, which is ridiculous. But we each have our checklist before we can say we're artists. But yeah, I find it, yeah, I've just lost my train of thought now. But anyway, we'll move swiftly along from me blabbering on. So what are you working?
I agree with what you're essentially saying is that.
Oh, do you remember what it was? Because I lost it. It ran right out my brain. Bring me back, Laurence, please.
I'm listening to what you're saying. Essentially, I guess what you're saying is imposter syndrome, where I think that, again, you have a normal job and a lot of people do other things, but really enjoy art. And so to be seen as like an artist, it's, unless it's your full-time profession and you're able to afford to be able to do that, you kind of don't really feel like you're maybe there yet.
Laurence has brought me back to my point. Excellent, thank you very much. I think, yeah, it's really sad to see how many of my mates that sort of think I'm just going to be a struggling artist, and they want me to succeed, but they've also heard all these things about artists and they live in squatters, like, and I'm like, calm down. It can be done alongside my full-time job. I'm just, you know, exploring that more, and I'm dedicating more time to discovering artists and what I like and things that I can do. and a few people have fallen off and not necessarily been super kind about it, and they have been very passive aggressive. Have you found that since you've come on, or have you had more of a supportive sort of, I don't mean it like, oh my God, you're going to fail, but you know, that passive aggressive, like, are you sure? Art? Really? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the results speak for themselves. I don't know. You know, when I was talking about like, I was just talking about it's taken all these years to get to a point where I feel like I'm confident in myself enough now. I feel like I'm at that point where it's just like, yeah, like it does hurt when you get negative comments and stuff. But fortunately, so far, they've been few and far between. But also, I'm at a point now where I feel like I just haven't got time. Even if you do have a negative opinion, I don't have time to entertain the idea or get into a conversation or argue the toss with you about whether you think it's good or not. If you don't like it, it's as simple as don't follow me, or you don't have to follow me on any channel. You can unfriend me on Facebook. You can not look at my TikTok. You know what I mean? All this kind of, you don't have to tune into the live and that kind of thing. So has anyone fallen off? No, I mean, I must admit, everyone's kind of, I only really care about my close friends, and they've kind of been really supportive with it. If they had a problem with it, I think I'd probably feel a bit maybe more like you do currently, but up until now, it's been fine. Long and short of that.
No, I mean, I'm not trying to bring the tone down. It's just that sometimes I know when you can start to dedicate your life, sometimes people, and not that they don't like you or that you just have different sort of, some people don't want to go to a gallery with me or come to an exhibition. So what I'm doing now is just different to what we were doing. And then, it's not that supportive, but it's getting there. So that's good. And I'm glad that you're experiencing a really positive, lovely time, because you deserve it. Like, you're doing some sick stuff. It's really cool. And also, we have to now talk about the abstract paintings that you have. The American Indian with the headdress.
Yeah, again,
That is you,
that
right?
isn't actually. That's not my painting. Like, as in, I painted that, but it's actually a paint. It was just a copy of. A client wanted me to put my own take on a painting that she'd seen. I can't remember the artist's name, but she wanted me to paint in a similar style to what they had done already. So that image already actually exists.
But I feel like you did it with a second thing as well, like a portrait. I'm trying to find. Did you not?
Which one do you mean? Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I thought you had done two similar pieces, that type of abstract. There was the American Indian one, and now I can see another one, but it's not coming to my mind. But maybe I've just made it up. But that was a very cool piece. So I just wanted to ask you, because it was so different to your style, that I just wanted you to...
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't quite remember what piece you're talking about, but essentially, even this, the one thing that has annoyed me over this time is that I've had a couple of people being like, oh, you're taking from this person, or you're taking from that person. It's like, look, I understand that, and I'm not trying to necessarily rip anyone off. It's just the case of I am experimenting with where I want to get to a specific style that I'm trying to define, and I'm still literally in that process. I know that I like the sharp grey granular lines, and then I'm going to add something eventually on top of that to really then make that my style, because at the moment I feel like a lot of people could do what I'm doing. So I want to separate myself and get myself to that next level in my head. And so, I've tried different stuff. It's like when you're at college and stuff, you look at your Damien Hirst, you know what I mean? You look at their work and you work out what's going to for you.
I think, sorry to interject, but when you've been talking to me today, you've spoken very openly about the artists that you are looking at for inspiration. You've mentioned their names. I don't feel, in a conversation I've just had with you, I don't think you're trying necessarily to steal credit. Like, you've been quite upfront about who you are looking at and artists that you draw from. And for anyone to at all ever, that's ridiculous. We all take from everything all the time.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it, because it gets as
great. Are you when people say that though? I think they're just trying to find a way to goad you, because they can see what you're doing is very commercial. But it
Yeah.
is also like pop art, things like that. There's an entire movement. People want to see these people are iconic, or these portraits are iconic. So, like,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with doing that. But I think we also just have to take those comments with a pinch of salt. I just had to interject because you were very forthcoming. And maybe these people don't have the opportunity to talk with you and they just offer their Facebook or Instagram opinion. But
Yeah,
I
no,
think
I
you can
mean,
knowing that you deserve to have a time to exercise your style. You're a year and a half in.
well,
Like,
exactly that. And I think that's what I
that's
didn't really want to,
ridiculous.
I say not really want to, but I mean, I didn't thought we'd be talking about this, but I don't really talk on it. And this is the first time that I am talking on this subject. Is it really annoys me. There's a couple of people in particular that are like, you're doing this. So for example, the abstract stripes or what have you, I've told you now earlier on exactly who did that. My point is not to copy you specifically, but I need to try stuff for myself to see how I feel about it and then to work on it from there. And I'm going to be posting that, whether you like that or not, you know. And I think that it's always kind of a compliment, because I think that when you get to a certain level, or, you know, like you just said there, where people can see that you're, without sounding like a dickhead, I know that I'm the next thing coming up in the scene in art. And so you can either like that or hate that, but I'm going to be trying things. I'm going to be doing different bits and pieces. And so I just hope that you can see where I'm coming from. That's why I'm open about what I've used and, you know, who I'm looking at and that kind of stuff, because I don't want to be accused. I just feel that's part of the process, which is what you mentioned, of getting to eventually where I want to be.
But then, like, is this person going to openly have an argument with every artist? I just want to know, like, sorry to be so petty, but like, are you going to have an argument with
That's
all of
what I
us?
mean.
We've all stolen 100% color theory. We've been all taught it through school or uni. Everyone gets to know the same thing. So,
Well, yeah, and it gets as granular as like, well, okay, fine. If you don't like stripes, well, so what? You're going to stop me using acrylic paint as well? Like, what do you mean? What, am I not allowed to use that as a medium? Like, so, you know, if there was copyright on it, then maybe it'd be different, but there isn't. So in that case, shut up.
exactly. That's my, like, I hate when people get on their high horse when it comes to visual art. Like, there was this one guy who was freaking out, and I was looking at him. He's having a freak out on Instagram, and this guy's stolen my, and I was like, you have legitimately taken just a print out of that and a print out of that and that and that and stuck it together. Every piece of your artwork is from someone else.
Mm.
So now you're having a freak out because someone else is attempting it. And
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean.
But you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
you have to understand you're going to influence people whether you like it or not. And sometimes, though, I know this is a very odd thing, but sometimes I've had an idea, genuinely thought it was my own idea, researched it a little bit, and found out someone else had done it in like Germany or something. So I understand it's not my own idea, but I think there are genuinely times where people get that inspiration that they're not. I didn't know that person there, so I had the idea, researched it a bit. Oh, cool, it's been done. Like, okay, great. But I wanted
guarantee anything that you've seen on Instagram, I could show you an artist that's either done the exact same thing or something very similar. That and probably one or two for everything. So
yeah,
so yeah, I completely agree. But I think that's why my main focus is on brand.
yeah.
I treat art, for me, the product. I am a brand in myself, and so when you create a brand, whether someone copies you or not, people are going to know you're the original.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you'll be able to benefit, you know, whether that's monetary or whatever you're trying to achieve personally, you know, from it. But you're going to be recognized as that. That's the whole point of posting loads, doing this kind of stuff. It's all part of brand, you know. And so when I try something new that incorporates something, when I come up with my final defined stuff, you'll know that's a me piece. So if someone copies me, well then you're gonna know, oh yeah, that Laurence guy did that. Do you know what I mean? And that's the level that you're trying to get to, you know?
Exactly. And I think you can quite confidently, from an outside stranger's perspective, I think you give credit where it's due. So comments like that, just like, you can be confident.
I think it does become a different conversation if you're not crediting the person who actually did that, you know? If
Oh,
you're saying, oh, this is completely my own work, this is my style now and I'm doing it, then yeah, okay, fine. But if someone asks you a question, or, you know, you're putting something up, or what, you know, and you're like, no, it was all me. Well, yeah, then I can understand why people might have a problem with that.
Yeah, no, then I wouldn't be saying to you, well, Laurence, you're a good guy, don't worry. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It was all you, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we can talk about, I think we'd sort of discovered in your proudest moment, you've been working on securing your prints and a good level of, you know, delivering them in frames, and you've done all that. I think that's what you're working on now. Am I correct?
Yeah, so the next thing I'm working on, again, giving credit to someone else, you know, the medium resin.
Yeah.
I've tried it on a couple of pieces recently, literally
Amazing, eh?
And it's resin's too temperamental, and so that's my dad. Resin is too temperamental, and so there's a guy called Terry Coe at the moment who I've literally just put up in a post. I am working with him to basically make canvases look like glass, and so it's not using resin, but what I'm working on at the moment is a small Michael Jackson piece, but it's on a board, and so I'm just doing it nice and small rather than the normal big thing that I do. Just so it just use it as a sample, basically.
Yeah.
To just try something new and see how it's going to turn out.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm working on this moment. I think that where I've kind of been so focused on like getting to influencers and painting for celebrities and all that kind of stuff, I'm just taking a step back because I know that once there's going to be a painting that's going to make things blow up, and I just feel like when that does happen, I want to have my style completely honed down so that any work that I make going forward, I'm not having to do a style which I don't not feel comfortable with, but I'm not fully proud of, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Your own style, that's everyone's dream, is for someone to look at something and go, oh, Laurence did that. Oh, Rickylee did that. So it's incredibly important. But I think it's great that you are unashamedly testing out what works for you, because you have to be proud of that at the end of the day. It's your name on it. Oh, it's gone particularly dark in the room you're sitting in. Sorry, you just sort of... Oh, there you go. That's... Oh, sorry, that was just awful for a second. Didn't see anyone. I'm like, hello?
Yeah.
So how has this revolting pandemic affected your life so far?
It hasn't. I think, if anything, it's just been a good time to just get as many... The only annoying thing is just getting supplies. The rest of it is just... I've been inside painting and working on my stuff. I think that what I have felt during this period, and I mentioned it in a post the other day, I feel I was fairly open with it, is that I think there's a massive pressure to produce, is to be really productive with this time. The idea that you can just sit at home, watch Netflix and whatnot is not really, almost frowned upon. I don't know if you feel the same or other people do, but I very much feel like you've got to be working all the time. I mean, but fortunately that is what I've been doing, and I've managed to get quite a bit done so far up until this point. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with how it's gone.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm having a great time. Like, apart from going to the shop, I have a garden. I never leave my house. I have a studio. So I'm really lucky. I don't have to... But then I open any social media and I'm absolutely devastated and heartbroken by all the statistics and the lies. And, you know, we spoke a little bit in our sort of pre-phone call yesterday about the state of the world in America right now. Like, that's making me really uncomfortable. You know, my godson happens to be Jamaican, and he's almost 10 years old, and you know, his mom and I were talking about him having to have that conversation about the police and being a black man, and I burst into tears because I thought, how could you be afraid of Nathaniel? Like, he's the sweetest, most funny, caring, kind, beautiful young man, and someone's just going to see a really big, scary black guy, and it's really breaking my heart. So how are you feeling with all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got fairly lucky. Like, I come from a town where I live out in Essex and stuff, and it hasn't been like we're the one of the only black families, along with a couple of others that were in the school at the time, but we haven't really like when you move out away from London. I don't feel like it's as bad. Maybe up north it's a little bit worse, but so to see what's going on in America, I can't really relate on the level that they are getting it, if you know what I mean. And so it's more of an understanding process. One of my really good friends from university, he actually was in touch yesterday, and I was just asking him about it because he's moved from England over to America because he plays for one of the NFL teams over there and whatnot. But he was just saying that even being, I guess, an athlete, like you still experience it, and it's open out there. Whereas here, it's a little bit more
microaggression-y.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, I mean, it's absolutely terrible what's going on over there. But yeah, I don't really like to comment on stuff too much that I don't really know a lot about, you know. And so, yeah, I can see what's going on. I've seen the videos and stuff, and yeah, like I'm 100% in support of it and stuff. But I can't sit here and be like, yes, I understand how you feel, because fortunately I haven't been on the receiving end, but it's sad to think that people are, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because I am in London, and you know, my godson is being raised in London. My black friends in London, you know, I've been in cars with them when we've been pulled over, and they get out the car, and I'm like, why are you getting out the car? And they're like, it's just easier. And I'm like, what? Like, it's really mind blowing to me how the police are not a safe space for certain people, and I think that's been more something that's awoken something in me to see what I can do to show how amazing the black men in my life are, and how safe and wonderful I feel whenever I'm with them, and how they've saved me from emotional trauma I've gone through, and, you know, given me godchildren and made me Auntie Ricky. So it's unacceptable for me. Like, you, as a female, I feel all men I don't know, and I'm South African, so rape is a real, like, it's drilled into us from a very young age there to be very militant and aware. So any strange man to me, I don't care. You are a potential rapist, which sounds very, like, quite drastic, but it's a real possibility. But it's for me any man, because I understand you could be an asshole no matter how much melanin you have. It's based on your trauma and your upbringing and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find a way to celebrate the lovely black men in my life, and humanize them a bit for people who don't understand that, you know, we're all the same. I don't want to, like, sorry to tell you all a big, like, but anyway. So I'm glad that, yeah, it doesn't really not affect you, because I'm sure it does, but it's nice that you're in an area where you don't feel that you feel that.
I think it's different as well, like even over in America, like they're literally walking out, and I think where police have got guns and stuff, whereas, you know, even if you do get arrested here, and say worst comes to worst, you were kicked out, like you haven't actually got the threat of, like, I guess, dying so much. I know obviously that George Floyd, he had his neck knelt on, but like a lot of the stuff that I've been seeing, like, you know, they've been shooting them, macing them, that kind of stuff. And I just don't think that's really... I don't think you would ever see a police officer walking up to someone and shooting them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I must say I do have it for the English police. Like, they do put up with a lot of back talk off of people. Like, South African police will just throw your ass in jail. You don't get to talk back to them the way I've seen, like, young kids talking to police here. And they keep their calm, I'm not going to lie. Like, not when they're dealing. I've never had to have a dealing with the police, but I've seen they're pretty calm. They walk around. They don't really do much. They have a stick. But cool. I much prefer being somewhere where guns are not allowed, because I think people are a lot braver. Like, I could probably kick some men's ass, but if they had a gun,
there you go.
Well, I had a gun, I could kick every man's ass.
Well, that's exactly the problem, isn't it? But I guess they kind of, it's a weird one. I was talking to a friend about it the other day, and it's kind of like, well, if the police weren't armed, then, well, they're in a sticky situation, because in America guns are, you know, rife. So, well, what, you know, they'd be at a terrible disadvantage and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, America, we should just put it in the bin. Just like Trump. Well, I mean, not the people, just the place. Like, get rid of everyone that's wrong, put them in the bin and start again, because it's not okay. We have Boris, so I can't really say much.
I mean, they're
But
not.
now, if we can get off this depressing topic, and if I have my favorite, my penultimate question, what is, if there was no money, no geography, no limitation, like, what is the dream for you as an artist?
I think it's to be painting for the elite of society. So that includes socialites, businessmen, you know, celebrities and stuff, which I kind of there, but I just really want to establish myself in that market. And then I guess almost myself to be well known as a, like I said, as a brand, as like a well-known artist, commercially, you know, that would be the kind of dream. And so as close to like, do you know Alec Monopoly?
I don't play it anymore. There was a falling out in our family, but I've been.
No, the artist Alec Monopoly.
Oh, I thought you said I played Monopoly, and I'm like,
No.
I'm not allowed that in my house anymore. No. Sorry, I didn't know. I was like, that's weird that you'd ask that. Sorry, Alex who?
Alec Monopoly. He's just a well-known artist, but like, you know, that's kind of the ultimate goal, to kind of be known on an international stage, I guess.
Or be as famous as Monopoly.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Rescued it.
Basically, ultimately, it's kind of to be, I mean, this is a great way to sum it up, to be as famous as the people I paint.
Oh, awesome. Okay, very good. You know, don't forget us when you're there. I mean, you're almost there. You can forget us if you want.
We're on the way. We're on the way.
Exactly. Yeah. But I just wanted to ask if there's anything that you wanted to bring up in regards to any upcoming stuff that you're working on, and then just how people can contact you for your prints, your artworks, commissions, etc.
Yeah, I mean, so we kind of spoke about it a little bit already, but in terms of like just honing that style, I think with this Michael Jackson piece, which I've just posted, it's just working on the finish of the painting, and also just having a little bit of an experiment with the style and stuff. So that's kind of on the forefront of what I'm trying to do, is really hone that style. And then I'm also doing a painting of Muhammad Ali next week, and so that's for a client, and that should be exciting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And then with the prints, oh yeah, the only thing coming up is this Sunday at 10 a.m. I'm doing a 24-hour print drop. And so how I sell my prints is that they go on sale for 24 hours, and once they're gone, they're gone. And so that I'm selling Elvis Presley prints. And so yeah, you can get one through my website on Sunday.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and what we'll do as well, there's a few pieces of Laurence's up on our Instagram story, and then if you don't mind to just message me over some of the things we've talked about to reference like your next Sunday thing, so we can then put it up and people can go and search it a bit through our stories if they miss this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I can send you that, because yeah, this Sunday it's hopefully going to go well. Again,
yes, of course. It's going to be sold out. Sunday is sold out.
Yeah,
and then just before you sneak off, who was your favorite celebrity to paint? Like one that like you actually like were like, oh, I really like this person. Has it been yet?
Yeah, Michael Jordan for sure.
Excellent. Yeah. I love that one.
I don't know if I don't know subconsciously if there's a thing or not, but I feel like when it sounds a bit airy fairy, but like when you feel the painting and when you enjoy what you're painting, it just translates. I think that's my best painting that I've done, and it's also the piece that I've enjoyed the most and wanted to do the most. So I don't know, that combination I just think works. And so going forward, yeah, I try and paint stuff that I actually want to, rather than, you know, just for the sake of money or whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, it was quite cool. I was showing my godson, I was doing some research while he was with me, and he's like, oh, is that Michael Jordan? And I was like, yes. So we went back to it, and he's like, that's the best one. I'm like, okay, calm down. I'll let him go. So from Nathaniel, that was the best one. So I just had to ask at the end. But cool. Thank you so much. This was really exciting to hear a bit more about you, and we look forward to trying to support you any way we can. When our pop-up galleries open, you are so welcome to come exhibit with us. It'd be lovely to have you in Fitzrovia, and it's a good time after as well. It's a great bar. So I'll forward you on the information. But yeah, I hope best of luck with everything. Can't wait to see the finished product of the Michael Jackson, the glass effect. That's going to be something very exciting, man.
Yeah,
So good luck.
Yeah, it should hopefully come out well. But no, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Well, also this will be up on our IG and then on our YouTube channel in a couple months. So yeah, have a great rest of your evening, guys. Thanks for joining us. Ciao.
See ya.
Bye.